and attempt to deceive. I said because this was a great test case for a lot of people who are not, you know, affiliated with grassroots organizations and they've never been in this thing. So um, to have that experience and then see the film, man, that was a great way to end my week. So, but I did have to yell a little bit.
Well, that's how it be sometimes, brother. Sometimes you got to raise your voice to make sure the people hear you.
Okay, yeah, I'm a talker. I'm a talker.
Cool. Okay, it's 9:05, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm sharing my screen right now. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Cool. Jennifer, one other person. David, somebody say.
I can see it.
Cool. All right. So I'm going to assume that everybody else can see it if the three of you can. Okay. So as always, thank you guys for being here this morning to be a part of the movie review. God knows you could have been somewhere else, but the fact that you decided to spend some time with us this morning is most certainly appreciated. So the Black Gold Nation presents Cinematic Connections for Revolutionary Change, an engaging, enlightening, and entertaining assessment of movies as it relates to the forward progress of Black people in America, Africa, and the diaspora. What is the Black Gold Nation movement? The Black Gold Nation movement is an international organization that seeks to liberate and save Black people by establishing our own towns/cities whereby we control the environment to make ourselves bigger, better, and stronger. It is our contention in this organization that when we allow other people to control any aspect of our environment, we lose. When we allow other people to control the politics, the economics, the spiritual systems, the educational systems, the security systems, the agricultural systems, amazingly, always we find ourselves on the bottom and everybody else is on top. So if we want to change that, we have to put ourselves in a position by which we can control the environment so we can do our own thing as we see fit. Why we came to be based on the understandings, teachings, practices, and strategies of past and current organizations that the Black Gold Nation movement's leadership has lived, studied, and or taught, and the need to continue doing. We build upon the successes minus some mistakes to provide our people solutions that work now to implement a 100-year plan to build power. We understand that there have been several brothers and sisters who have come before us who've tried to do a very good and righteous thing, and all of them failed for whatever reason. Their failure simply means that the work they were trying to do, the work that was necessary and needed, still needs to be done. So those of us that are alive and well in 2020 moving forward, it is on us to pick up that baton, to pick up that banner and run our leg of the race as best we can, and understand that all of them have successes that we need to build upon, but also all of them have weaknesses that we can afford to, weaknesses and mistakes that they made that we can afford to duplicate. So we want to make sure that we build upon what they got right, don't make the mistakes that they made, so that we can give our people a 100-year solution, literally, to build power for ourselves, so that we can achieve the ultimate goal of giving that to our children, so that they can add their 100-year plan onto it, so that as a people, we are always 100 years out. We are not reactionary to everything. We are no longer behind the 8 ball, and we can get back to running the world as we used to back in the day. So with that, I'm going to turn this thing over to Brother Craig Lee, and he's going to let us know about this movie, The Spook That Sat by the Door. Brother Craig.
Yes, and again, good morning to everybody. Good morning. I'm actually in Dallas, Texas this morning. I had to come over for a AAU basketball tournament today. So Louisiana will be back in the mix on tomorrow. So I had to bring the Bayou flavor into the big state of Texas today. As customary, the first question that I always like to ask about any film that we review is, what are your thoughts, or what were your thoughts about the film? Just in short synopsis and whatnot. So whoever wants to start off, but I need everybody to give me their thoughts on it now.
Sisters always go first, so Brother David, don't say nothing. Any sister.
Okay. This is Jennifer. I thought it was a good movie. When I was watching it, I was thinking, Well, of course, my antennas went up, and I was like, this is actually what they did. So, so the whole time, I was kind of looking at it through that lens, like, this might be the actual operation, or how many operations have they actually, made that got a result as this was. That's how I thought about it. Of course, David will attest that I did fall asleep at a couple of parts, different
What?
parts. Yes,
Yeah, she sure did.
Damn it.
but overall, I thought it was a very, very good film.
Good girl.
All right. Next sister.
I'll go. Good morning.
Morning.
So this movie was always on my to watch list, but I never got around to it.
Okay.
So I had to make sure I watched it. I just finished it. I watched it this morning.
Right.
But what I like the most is just the little side stories. Everybody had their own little perspective.
Exactly.
So yeah, so you got to see it from the white people's side, or behind closed doors. I like the little scene with the waiter, in the beginning when he jumped on lighting his cigarette and while the dude was talking, the perspective from the one that married the doctor, she was all about him until it made her life uncomfortable, because before she hardly ever mentioned her husband. Now all of a sudden, my husband got fired, you been saying that, the whole story. So I thought it was well made. I'm glad I got a chance to watch it finally.
Beautiful. You brought out some good points too, Jatik. That's got to be, of course, part of the discussion.
Well, I'm Jackie. I've not had a chance to see the movie. My daughter.
I'm sorry.
My daughter Jatik just invited me to the discussion, but already it's really I feel as though I need to watch this movie. I've never heard about it before, so I will make a point to watch it.
Ooh, okay. You're gonna love it. I was gonna scare the hell out of you. One or the other. Okay, Rhea or Mary?
Well, I'll be quick. It's just kind of crazy how, I don't know, the things really haven't changed. The language, the concepts, it's just like, it's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, and just like Jatik was saying, like just seeing things from different points of view. I was a little distracted by the white boy that seemed black. I didn't know if he was mixed or not. I don't know if I was the only one that was like trying to figure out, is he black or is he?
And that was his point. That was his point. Yeah. That was his point he made.
Yeah, well, yeah. But like in real life, I'm trying to figure out, like, you got this white boy saying nigga in the film, like, I don't know. Whatever. It's it's service, I guess. But
I'm glad that stood out because we're gonna discuss that.
Okay. I actually have it here in my collection, and he's Puerto Rican, I believe.
Yeah, he looks Puerto Rican.
He's connected with his African. A lot of Puerto Rican people know where they come from originally, and they have kept some of their traditions, their African traditions alive mixed in with their Latin and Caribbean traditions. So he identified as being more of a black person. But yeah, that always stands out to me too, that he's got that that's one of the pieces that I think is interesting about the film, is that it talks about the use of his light skin, his colorization, the use of that to benefit the movement. Because it is a tool. It's something that should be looked at, because people are very caught up in that, in what that's about. But yeah, that's one of my I share with people.
Wow.
Films, yeah.
Melanin Inc. Girl, we in direct harmony.
All right, sing.
All right, Brother David.
Yeah, I like the film. I would say it was a little distracting because I think we watched it on YouTube and it was really fuzzy. But that part took a little bit away from it. But what I found interesting, I liked the specifics of the CIA tactics that he used. Specifically the spreading of the organization throughout the different cities, and making sure you had the guy had learned 3 membership chains up. So the head fell off, and everybody, next man up type thing. That was very interesting. Another thing I thought it a bit of a critique. I felt like they jumped around a bit, but you get that when you make a movie out of a book. You get a lot of stuff is going to get skipped, it seems. But we jumped a bit, and it was kind of some stuff you had to kind of work to figure out because of how they moved around a bit in the plot to get to where they need to go. But I liked it in general. It's a great movie.
Cool. And just so you guys know, Mama Heru, she saw the League of Extraordinary Minds presentation this morning. I told her about the movie review. I already know she hasn't seen it, which is why I'm not gonna call on her. But the fact that she is here is absolutely fantastic. And hopefully by the end of the day, we'll have another ambassador in Houston. So powerful sister that has a lot to offer. So I'm not calling on her because I'm being anti-Black woman. She ain't seen it. All right, so I love the movie. I thought, 1973, they put this information out and it made it. I was absolutely amazed. And my only critique was that the acting was not that great. But other than that, man, the subject matter, the verbiage, let me tell you, having been in the U.S. military, that dude was on point. I mean, some of the things that he was telling the dudes to do, and some of the things that he was taught to do in the CIA, that is what they do. Of course, they apply a certain level of violence to it to make sure that things go their way. But I was floored by the information, the fact that it came out. Like Jatik said, you could play that movie today, update it, and everything still applies. Every single thing still applies. Which is a testament to our condition, where we are, where we need to go. So overall, I've always been a fan of the movie. It's been years since I've seen it. And I think I read the book. I had to be read it when I was in the military, so some 20 plus years ago. So yeah, I thought it was, I was amazed that it got made and it made it to the screen in 1973. Given the energy of Black people at that time, that was amazing to me. So yeah, I thought it was a great movie.
Powerful. Well, I'm glad that you guys got into it because we're gonna peel the layers back, and then as you watch it again at some point, and I have to make it a point to purchase the book because I'm gonna go through the book, and the reason beyond us having to enlighten ourselves about reading, period, I'm gonna read for you guys why we gotta buy the book. And whenever we do a film or a book discussion, I always tell people, research who the author is or was, and the director. And so before I read this thing, can anybody tell me the name of the author? The person who wrote the book, and we'll get into the director, but can anybody tell me the name of the author?
Sam Greenlee.
Sam Greenlee.
There you go. Now, I was taught by my teacher in junior high school, if you ever want to know why a person wrote something or why they write the way that they write, or anything about the information that they're putting out, study who the author is. And so you apply what I call the WH formula to that research, analyzing who, what, when, where, why, and how. of that author, and it'll lay everything out. And you'll see that Sam Greenlee had been an intelligence officer in the military. And you will find that Sam Greenlee was from what city? Chicago, okay? And he had been raised in the movement, okay? So it'll start to make sense when you do some research on who he is. But I'm gonna read something for you in terms of some data that I ran across in researching him. Hold on one second. I'll pull this up because this was absolutely powerful when I saw this. This is what was said in some of the research. Listen to this. The author, Sam Greenlee, was told by Aubrey Lewis, one of the first Black FBI agents recruited to the Bureau in 1962. Listen to me now. I want y'all to hear this now. This was told to Sam Greenlee by one of the first FBI agents for the in 1962. This is what he said. The spook who sat by the door was required reading, not suggested reading, not perspective reading, but required reading at the FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia. Having been much rejected by mainstream publishers, Greenlee's spy novel first was published by Allison and Busby in the UK in March 1969. So we're talking 50 plus years ago that the book was written, shopped, and finally published in 1969 after the author met Margaret Busby in London the previous year, and by the Richard W. Barron Publishing Company in the US. It was subsequently translated into several languages, including French, Italian, Dutch, Japanese, Finnish, Swedish, and German. All right. Now I want y'all to think about that just for a second. That's profound. Over 50 plus years ago, the impact of this book, which then subsequently became the movie that we just watched. That's interesting. Think about that. All of these different ethnic groups checking out this book over 50 years ago. And the book and the movie is detailing what? Black Revolution. So you need to really understand a couple of things about that. We have to be very careful. I'm glad he put it out now because that's why we're talking about it. But we have to be very careful about the information that we put out, because if you put the information out, you basically give our oppressors and other interested parties a direct insight into how we roll. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, hence why the Black Gold Nation is so important, and hence why membership into organizations like this, which, hell, we the only one in the damn country other than the micro group that I have in the city of Shreveport. But I wanted to bring that out so when you get the opportunity, I want you to really study. I want you to really, really study who this guy was and who the director was, Ivan Dixon, because for them to bring this information out, Sam Greenlee brought it out over 50 years ago, and Ivan Dixon, the director, 1973 that this film came out, and like Brother Tamani said, that's 47 years ago, yo. And when we're still in the oppressive state, and we're actually worse off now than we were back then, because these cats were really talking about this at that time. Now, first question, what does the word spook mean? What does the word spook mean?
I always saw them in an agent of the government or a government. That was always my understanding of the word. I'm not sure if it has a definition meaning, but that's my understanding of it.
All right. Anybody else?
It could also be you know, the scared or the scary person.
The
True. Spook or the ghost.
Exactly. Anybody else?
A ghost. That's what I was gonna say. A ghost.
Yeah. All right. Let me read this definition for y'all, because it's multiple things and y'all hit on all of them. But this one is very important that we understand. It definitely is a ghost. And in slang, in the African American community, it says it's a contemptuous term used to refer to a Black person, an espionage agent, or spy. Now, there are a couple of definitions that's directly related to the CIA, since this was a CIA film. So from a CIA standpoint, a spook is a term that means this. A ghost, it does not literally mean ghost, but it refers to those highly trained operatives who operate in a clandestine roles, true secret spies. It can also refer to government, to foreign nationals who work for the CIA in similar roles or intelligence operations. And then from a military standpoint, it says in the military, a spook is a person who has a certain designator associated with intelligence gathering or analysis jobs. U.S. Air Force and other military pilots have been breaking their silence about UFOs. So primarily, that's what spook references. So now, just to deviate just for a second, what is one of the most popular TV shows that's out that Negroes love? Power. And who is the main character?
Ghost. All right.
Now and how did Ghost operate?
In the shadows. That's right.
Exactly.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. Okay. So what I'm saying to you guys, when people put words out in books and they put them out in film and they put them out in the public, they ain't just using the damn terms just to be using them. And you really need to hone in on that, because that in and of itself is a curriculum for you to study so you can really break this thing down. All right, that's great. So y'all got that, knocked that out the door. All right, who is the main character in the film? And what is his ultimate goal? The main character in the film, and what is his ultimate goal?
I think his name was Freeman, and he said he just wants to be free.
Woo!
It's fresh.
It's fresh. That's right. Good point. She just saw it.
I'm gonna bring you some damn meat pies. Now, all right, T, you got that correct. So break down those two things that you just said. You just gave me the right answers, but now let's dig a little bit deeper into the answers So break the two answers down. I asked you who was the main character. You got that right, Dan Freeman. And you got right what his goal was, to be free. So break that down.
He was pretty much saying to get to those means, you either have to die or achieve the goal. So when his friend, the police officer, asked him, what his main goal was, he was saying, even behind this gun, I'm still freer than you are. And that showed the dichotomy where, the guy, he had the, I guess the American dream, as far as, he went to school, he got married, he got a good job, but he was like in this in-between world, as far as his supposed power, but the people that were really in charge weren't listening to him, because that's where the dogs came from. And, he's like, take these dogs back. I'll shoot the dog. You better not have shot that dog. That dog is a police officer. He didn't shoot that dog either. So just as far as being free, I guess it would be each person's individual vision of that. Because one person's vision, the police officer's vision of free, or the girlfriend's, his girlfriend's vision of making it, that was free to her. Or, it just depends on who you ask. The prostitute, his home, the girl, she was free because she's like, I'm Black, even though I'm from wherever she was from, DC or whatever, she was like, I'm part of the cause too. So it depends on, where you're coming from, as far as I would believe their version of free.
So interesting that you bring up those different situations. And I'm going to tell you something, and I definitely suggest that all of you, if you have not started doing your genealogy research, start doing your genealogy research on your family. Because my mother's father, which I didn't know this coming up, I didn't find this out until 1997, because I thought my grandfather was another guy. And I'm going to connect this to the movie. But I found out that my actual grandfather's last surname was Choice, Choyce, not with the I, but with the Y. And I found out that the name was not a slave name, but it came after my third great grandfather, who started the lineage. His slave name. Hold on, somebody was trying to call. I hate when they try to do that. But his slave name was Peter Brown. So after slavery, he changed his name to Choice. Now, mind you, I ain't find out about this until 97. I went to my first family reunion in 2002. So about 2006, there was a conversation going on at a reunion. And a couple of my crazy ass cousins said, we need to be open to the prospect of us being related to some white choice. Now, I'm new to the game, right? But I've been on the enlightened path for a long goddamn time. So I was like, just from an analytical standpoint, how the hell could we be related to some goddamn cracker choices when the person who started the name, his slave name used to be Brown. So when he created the name, and that started the lineage of choices who had to be all brothers and sisters, all melanated. So I asked them that question, why would you all say this? And they just showed the slave mentality of our people wanting to be related to the folks. So coming out of slavery, a lot of our ancestors with foresight changed their goddamn name because they knew they weren't slaves to begin with. and they knew they were coming from Africa, and that was the name that my third great grandfather chose on my mom's paternal side. Well, what does that have to do with this film? Again, always look at words. The pursuit of the main character, the Teak specifically got correct, was freedom. But what was his name? Free man. See, a lot of our ancestors took on that name, free man, free man. That's why that's not a slave name. They took on that name, free man. Hence, you had the Freedmen's Bureau. You see, all of that came out during Reconstruction. And that was a very important point that's in the movie. So those little symbols, I just wanted to bring that to you all because that was very clever how they connected that, because he made it a point. My goal is freedom, and my name is Free Man. And so, so I have a question that says, what individuals in the African American community did Freeman, the main character, say can go almost anywhere and not be detected?
A black man with a mop.
Woo! Damn, you're good, boy. That's...
And now it's the Latinos who are doing the same thing.
Woo! Well, y'all own it. Who else can go undetected? That was exactly what he said, but based on him saying that, who else can go undetected and never be figured out?
I don't know, black industry perhaps? Black people in the service industry perhaps?
Somebody said it? What?
Ricardo said maids.
Yep, maids. And you said in the service industry?
Yeah.
Okay, connected to the film.
I just want to add, I think you also said a black man with a Well, look, I'm fresh like Jatique, so.
All right.
Woo, y'all hot. Y'all hotter than fish grease, boy. Anybody else? I want y'all to think about something, especially as Tamani and I break down our podcast, The Revolutionary Code. Y'all want to know who actually is the most powerful people in any government at the local, state, federal, or international level? Y'all want to know who those entities are?
Yeah.
Do y'all really want to know?
Yeah.
They're more powerful than the president, the vice president, the generals, and y'all just gave the answer. Secretary, receptionist, janitor, anybody who is in that industry, waiters, butlers. These white folks talk all their goddamn business around these people.
That's right.
These people see all the documents. But guess what the white folks must automatically know in order for them to discuss all this shit around our people in these positions? They know that they're what? Unconscious.
Unconscious, okay.
They know
no, they have to believe that they're unconscious because they don't know.
Yeah, they must believe it.
Yeah, got to. They spill the beans.
And if they don't believe that we have the power to do anything with the information. No.
And Melanin Inc., she hit another good one. The sex workers. And you're absolutely correct, Brother Ricardo. They believe it, and they pretty much feel, even if they did believe it, what ain't a goddamn thing they can do. So we don't mind talking our business in front of their head. But that's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key. See, now those are, when I break down the 6 factions of African descendants, Brother Tamani, those entities are your either grassroots Black people or grassroots Negroes.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Now, the grassroots. Let's go to Melanie Ink's point. Melanin Ink's point. The prostitute initially was a grassroots what? What was she? She was a grassroots Negro.
Okay.
She was prostituting herself. She didn't have much self-esteem. But look at what he did in the film. What did he do? What did he do for the prostitute?
I know. He gave her a sense of self, a sense of worth, connected her with continent Africa, by saying, you remind me of a Dahomey queen. A Dahomey what? I got a picture in the book.
and look at how she transformed.
She said, me?
And look at how she transformed.
Yes, sir.
In the film.
Right.
And ultimately, Melanin, he made her into an agent. God damn, girl.
Hey, really quickly, full disclosure, anything that Jatique and Melanin says, I'm telling them that. I'm texting these sisters so they won't feel so bad. But all these answers, it's me, bro. It is straight me.
Yo, that is a great point, sister. He transformed her into an agent. Okay, Melanin, since you didn't hit that, let me ask you this specific question. How did he know to transform her into an agent? And why did he transform her into an agent?
I'm doing a million things, so that's why my camera's off. Because the connections that she had, the backroom connections that she had, who she was sleeping with, who she could speak to, who she could listen to at night, or whatever time of the day it was that she's doing what she's doing. But she could get the conversation, the intel, the info.
That's true. Give me one, and that is absolutely one of the aspects. Give me the last one. It's another thing. He knew something else too.
I don't remember.
She's not seen as a threat. That's Jacqueline. That's true. But here's the other thing, and you probably wouldn't have picked this one up. The reason that he maneuvered on her, and you got to go back to the training. Remember when the three guys, when it was down to 4, it was just 4 of them. And remember when the 3 guys came in and they wanted him to go into DC and he wouldn't go because he was working.
Yeah.
And the light-skinned dude started talking shit. And he started talking shit about the white folks. Do y'all remember what Freeman told him?
Yeah, when he said, I hate white people, all white people, is that the part you're talking about? No?
Well, he was talking about white folks, but he was just, talking a whole bunch of shit. Because he was telling Freeman, you the reason that everybody got kicked out of the goddamn program,
Okay. When they were in the hotel room.
Yeah, in the hotel room.
Okay, and what's your question again?
I said, because we're connecting this to the process.
The sister, yeah.
So Sister Melanin got it right that he made her into an agent, and she got it right as to one of the reasons why she made him into the agent, because she could get intel from people. Loose lips sink ships, the sexual gratification.
Sure.
It's the easiest ways to target. But there's another reason why he needed her to be an agent.
I'm going to assume because she's a woman, but I don't know.
He had mentioned when you were talking about the guys coming in, he was mentioning about the room being bugged.
So what did he have to know? What did he know? when he went to that bar and he met her? What did he have to know?
Probably the what that guy liked, as far as, you know, if he could kind of see in the future, you know, because the girl had said, you know, he likes chocolate or whatever. I don't know what she said, but maybe he knew, you know, what he liked behind closed doors, and just, you know, had foresight into, you know, the people that he worked with and the people in that area.
You're in the ballpark, so I'm gonna tie it into you. He gave you the insight that the white folks were probably bugging the room. So he had foresight, right?
Right.
So now, he, for whatever damn reason, they didn't really get into his background, that he had been in the military. And when they were breaking this down, obviously that was something that they missed, because I don't remember them breaking down that he had been in the military. They kept on talking about he was in college and he was a good athlete. But obviously he was a high level operative in the military. Okay, check this out. He goes into the bar and he specifically buys her a drink. And what I'm saying to you is that was a training op that they had planted that in there, because they were bugging the actual room and doing surveillance on each and every last one of them. They knew everywhere they were going. If y'all go back and remember, they were analyzing them. They knew when they went into the city. You know, these are things that they hadn't told the white folks, but they were surveilling them. Okay, so they knew to plant this particular individual in there. He buys her a drink, and just like Sister Melanin said, they have their sexual encounter. He flips her into an agent based on the cultural thing, making her feel good about himself. And now what happens? He knows what? The CIA is going to come and interview her, which they do. And she gives them exactly what he wanted her to tell them, without even her knowing that she had been flipped and made into an agent. Because remember, a spook is somebody who is not seen and has high-level skills in espionage and spying. So that was a very powerful part in the film, because what ends up happening, she now brings him intel back. Although she remains doing her prostitution work, she elevates her game, and now she does what? Because he didn't know she had actually, and the way you know this, that she was working with the CIA as their sexual, you know, bed chick or whatever. He didn't know that she was sleeping with his former boss. Mm. See, that came out almost towards the end. But at the end of the day, she brought the intel back to him based on how he had helped liberate and elevate her thinking from a low level. Mm. Tell me if y'all got that.
I get it. I get it now that you're saying it.
Yeah. Okay. That's a question I had, whether or not she was initially a CIA agent type, like one of their people who were like not officially on the books. They're undercover folks that they, you know, keep around for information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Brother Dave, the reason that I had to go ahead and solidify that as her doing it, I mean, they knew directly to go to it, and she just broke everything down. You know, this wasn't nothing new to her.
She wasn't surprised or scared when the questions were coming. Like, she know this is my usual. I report to the guy after I deal with whoever recruits. She probably like usually does the recruit check for new recruits.
Exactly. Because think about it. it ain't a lot of places that they were going to be able to go to a bar. You see what I'm saying? And so this guy is automatically letting you know, I already know how they operate, so I'm not going to speak, just loose lips from that overall standpoint. Okay?
Yeah, he didn't say anything. During the interview, she was like, he only talked about her and asked a question about her. He didn't say anything about himself.
And look at Brother Dave, since you caught this, let's break down what the goddamn agent asked her in the briefing in the bar. What kind of question?
He asked her what kind of stuff he likes to do in bed, if he's gay, that kind of stuff.
Brother Dave! Say that again, Brother Dave. He asked her what?
He was asking stuff he likes to do in bed and if he's gay. Just those kind of questions,
That was the last question.
That was the last one.
Is he a homo? Ooh, she says she.
They like to get dirt on you and then use that dirt as a blackmailing tool.
Well, it's not just the dirt, Brother Ricardo. Once they know what you like and how you roll, they can position entities to now compromise you even more.
And use that against you.
And help to flip even more. So
actually, I think that was one of the standard spy questions back then. I've seen other movies like set in the 60s and 70s. You couldn't be gay and be a spy at the same time. They need to know that. They for real. Back then, they need to know that. So that's probably why the prostitute check was one of the checks you had to pass. You go there and you have sex with the girl to make sure that you are not gay.
Right, that's gangster. Right, that's a hell of a point you just brought up there, brother. That's it. So when I'm breaking this down, Brother Dave, when I break this down in training for people coming into the grassroots movement, and I try to tell them, I'm like, look, man, you can't have any vices in this game and be in the forefront. Now you can have a few little subtle things that you got going on and be a foot soldier, you know what I'm saying? But the higher you go up the chain in this game, can't have no goddamn vice. You can't be no damn alcoholic. You can socially drink. You can't be no drug head. You can't be no gambleaholic. And you better know how somebody rolls sexually, because all of these things matter. And when I try to break this down for my people, they're like, well, why you need to know how this person is rolling? I said, because the government is going to know how you roll. And if the government is going to know, I need to know.
That's right.
If you're a banana boy, if you whatever your proclivity are, I need to basically know within that overall situation, because that allows us to know where we can position you. Because you can't be in the forefront and you got these particular issues, because they're going to come at you based on what they learned in their intelligence gap. So I'm glad you picked up on that. That's great, man. Yeah, man, if I was a teacher, man, I would be giving y'all straight A's right about it. All right, so how does the film begin? How does the film begin? I always say within the first 2 minutes of the film, it pretty much sets the tone. So what stood out in the first 2 minutes, couple minutes of the film that you can, tell me that sets up everything in the film?
A politician trying to get reelected.
Woo!
Boom.
What else? Anybody else?
His desire. Well, after the sister tells him you're going to lose based on all these metrics, the white secretary says we can use the CIA's lack of diversity. He's like, yeah, let's use that. So maybe the usage of, I don't know, playing one office against another. I don't know how to label that, but he uses the lack of people of color in these offices to win election. doing whatever he got to do to get elected.
Let me show you how
What
cold.
stood out to me is that they had the sister, you know, like she's working for their team hard and giving them ideas to get, you know, to take us down.
Well, that was her job, and that's why they had her in there. Yeah, fertility statue. Yeah, in the opening scene. Wow, that was there. That's powerful. The fertility statue in the opening scene. That was there. Great observation. And you're right, Brother Ricardo. But that was her job. So let me show you how cold-blooded the creator is. For me to have made the recommendation to watch this film this week. The person running for re-election was who? What was his elected position? He was a what?
I don't know.
He was a senator.
Okay.
What happened this week of importance in the United States dealing with the upcoming election?
The selection of the vice president, running mate for Joe Biden.
And she's what?
What do you mean? She's what?
She's a senator.
We're going to connect some dots here. So the movie starts off. The movie starts off. No problem, Sister J. I got you. The movie starts off with the senator having to be reelected. And Kamala Harris is another senator, and she's going for election on the ticket with Joe Biden. All right? The sister that Ricardo is talking about is asked a question by the senator. And the question is, am I winning or losing? And so she says, you are behind. And this is funny. And I don't know if there's some symbolism behind it or not, but they could have just said, you're behind 1 percentage point. But she said, you're behind by 1.846.
Precise.
So they could have just meant that to be, they're very precise, or it could have some numerical significance. I don't know.
The code for murder. 186.
187 is murder.
Yeah, 187 is that. But they said 1.846. But that was brought out, and so then it's like she tells him, you're solid with the Jews, but you're behind with who?
The Negroes.
The Negro. And so this is where the whole situation is. Okay, so now, who comes up with the tactical maneuver that sets the tone for the movie in that first meeting between the senator and his team?
The white woman. The white woman. Ain't she awesome?
and so what does she come up with? What's the plot?
To use the diversity numbers in the CIA against them. Did she say CIA?
But what did she say? What did she say?
Shoot, I don't remember.
What's going on at the time? What did she say?
Didn't he just give a speech on law and order, and then his numbers went down?
Boy, you off the game. You off the game. David, he gave the damn speech on law and order, and his damn numbers went down with the Negroes. Does this sound familiar this week with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden? Does this sound familiar? So he gave the speech. His numbers go down. So the white female comes up with a game. Does she want to run from the issue, or does she want to confront the issue in terms of the speech?
The white woman, she wants to confront it.
That's right. And her premise is to do what?
Draw a comparison between, she wants to use the lack of diversity to help him, but I don't know. Jordan, go ahead.
Well, you're in the ball game. He has to blame the CIA for racism, i.e., lack of diversity.
Gotcha.
And in marketing, and I'm going to give you guys these at some point. These white boys came up with this list called the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. And in marketing, one of the 22 immutable laws is if you admit a negative, your target audience will give you a positive. So she's admitting she wants to take the tactical approach of admitting a negative, i.e. the CIA is racist, they ain't got no people, this is what we're gonna do. And this is after the senator made the speech. So now their game plan is focused on what? Symbolism of Negro progression.
Yeah.
Symbolism of Negro progression. But did they really want to hire any Negro?
Not at all. And they was hoping all of them was gonna fail. These niggas ain't gonna make it.
Exactly. Now, the senator get into now I hadn't ever seen this film. I've known about it, but I've never seen it. So I want you to pay attention to what I'm about to say. I broke down in our Revolutionary Code that there are 6 factions of African descendants. And I told you, you got 4 of those factions that fall under the Negro side and 2 on the black side. Look at what the senator said, and he caught himself because the sister who works on his team was in there. He asked the question, how do we retrieve the lost need?
Right, that's right.
The lost need.
Right.
And said, black vote. Woo! The lost need, black vote. Because he understands that there's a difference between Negro and black. He understands that there's a difference. And they got to retrieve the lost Negro vote, even though he's now using the term black. All right, how many guys were initially in the training?
3.
No. How many?
That's how many he recruited?
Ricardo.
Oh, you mean the bro? I'm sorry. You mean the actual CI people? I apologize.
Ricardo got it right. It started out as 100. Then it got down to what?
Was it 5, 7?
20 or something.
Now it got down to 40. And then out of the 40, it got down to what?
4.
10.
10. It got down to 10. So it got down to 10, and that's what started. Those 10 were in the room. If y'all remember when the guy told us.
In the bar, by the little bar.
Yeah.
Y'all are the 10 who made it through preliminary training. But what did the guy tell them while they were in that room?
That you can be eliminated up to the very last minute?
Exactly. Y'all ass ain't no agents now.
You ain't in yet.
Ain't in yet. But y'all are the 10. And so we're going to start doing this training. Okay, so what was the first thing that was said when that white dude left out the room?
We've arrived?
Pretty much. The dude said, ain't it groovy to be a spy? Ain't it groovy to be a spy? And we know that spy is the literal term for what word?
Spook.
There you go. So ain't it groovy to be a spook for the CIA? Now, they were talking and they were like, oh yeah, we done made it. And one guy said, hey man, he just said, this is not a guarantee. The light-skinned dude said something very important. What does he say?
I don't remember what he said verbatim, but it was something like they can't get rid of all of us, or they gotta let something about integration. This is integration, baby, something like that. Like they gotta let us in because they need us colored folks, something like that.
He said, some of us have got to make it.
There you go.
All right. Now I wanted to hit on this point, so I need everybody to give me their perspective on this. Because I know everybody on this call are doing some positive things in their city. How are most people who are able to achieve in America, how are they able to achieve? How are they able to achieve?
They are accepted into the white man's system.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, they build the system that actually is working against them. They become integrated into it.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, Sister Jacqueline say befriend everyone. Okay. Anybody else? All right. In order to navigate in America, because the system of capitalism is designed to have a permanent underclass, in order for people to succeed, a whole bunch of people gotta fail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. By design.
By design.
Yes, sir.
By design.
Yes, sir. Somebody gotta be exploited.
So that's why the guy said, some of us have gotta make it. And he uses a term. He said, and this was profound. He said, let me teach you the theory of tokenism. And he said, all of us will be able to make it if we just don't appear to be too eager. Okay? That's what the light-skinned dude said, the theory of tokenism. And he said they're gonna grade on a curve, and if we just don't appear to be too eager, then they will now select all of us. And they were really believing that. Now, while they were talking, what was going on that they didn't know?
They're being watched, right?
Exactly.
They were listening to them.
Yeah. Exactly. They were being watched. And so when you have intelligence gathering organizations and they're in the room and they didn't even know that they were being watched, it's like, bam. Now Freeman, as you would find out later, he pretty much knew and understood.
Right.
His focus was on what? In that meeting with the 10. He didn't focus on talking shit about white folks. What did he focus on? The quality of the liquor.
His focus was just to be to get in the program at all costs so he could work his master plan.
Oh, true. But I was asking, what did he focus on in front of the 10 people. Because he knew he was being watched.
Yeah, how expensive the liquor was overseas.
How expensive the liquor was inside of the bar. Right. He said, this is quality liquor. And he said, this is Chevy's Regal. He said, this is $3 at the commissary.
Right.
And I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but two of the guys connected in there. They were talking about, going to HBCUs.
Yeah.
And
they were Kappas and
they were alphas.
Alphas. Secret handshake that took 35 seconds. I said, damn, it's a long handshake.
They were doing that grip was forever.
Damn, they should be tired. Remind me of Bernie Mac.
Hey, Brother David, I was like, Tamani said about the bad acting. I said, now, goddamn, y'all could at least got the damn handshake.
They could have got some real alphas to do the handshake, because I don't know, them boys was like, they were taking forever to do.
Man, I'm like, boy, that's a super, super duper secret. That's funny.
But of course he's trying to show within that element just the kind of content that W.E.B. Du Bois talked about.
There you go.
That's what he was trying to show with that. And then one dude said they got rent-free housing overseas.
Overseas, right?
So they listening to everything so they would know how to tap into it. The light-skinned guy, when he talked about the theory of tokenism, and the one guy brought up what everybody ain't gonna be able to make it. And he was talking about, and the other guy said, the trainer don't like me. And the guy said, don't matter how much they feel. Don't matter how they feel. The word is out. And what's the word?
Integration.
Integration is in.
We done arrived, y'all.
Now, let me take y'all back to the movie. It was the Damon Wayans movie. I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. Do y'all remember that movie?
Yes, sir.
So Damon Wayans goes into the black store. And the brother
right.
The brother comes out and he got his dashiki on. He married to a white chick with the white son. And so he's talking about the swine and the poor white trash.
I know the answer to the question.
So Jack Slade he said, man, what happened to the revolution? He said, man, when I left here, everything was going on. And the brother said, well, we went down to march on. He said, we was hyped. Yeah. He said, we had our time. Yeah. And we was going down there to give Whitey a piece of our mind. Yeah. He said, but what happened? The rest of the money, what did he say?
They were hiring. Kaput goes to revolution.
That was being brought out in this field.
And you know what, Brother Craig? What's funny is that's what happened from the civil rights to the black power to the 80s to now. Our parents stopped struggling, stopped building, stopped doing because they got jobs. They thought they had arrived, middle class.
Exactly. And so it's very sad, but the guy put all of this in the film, and it's so accurate as relates to what has, the illusion of getting a piece, absolutely. And of course now, the 10 is now broken down to 4, and they are observing everybody again. And what do the guys say? They say, this guy here has been performing in the top 3 in all categories. And that was the one that was Freeman. And so when the 3 guys came to the room to ask him to go out, he was real polite and said, "No, I gotta, keep on working." And that's what a light skinned dudes take the time to, talk about him, call him Uncle Tom, and this dude had a mission. He knew he was being a quadruple agent.
Yeah.
He was being a quadruple agent because he was being a so-called double agent for the CIA, which all they had him doing was being in the goddamn mailroom. And they were so stupid because he had access to all information.
Top secret. That's the first thing I thought when I saw it on the copier. Top secret. Okay.
If you're a secretary, receptionist, any of those things, the information is gonna pass through your head,
brother.
Well, you know what to do with it.
That's right.
Okay, he knew what to do with it. All right. Let me see here. All right. Last few points. What was Freeman's master plan? Now we're going to get to some idealism, but what was his master plan?
To force Whitey, the establishment, into submission. You either going to give us a piece of this thing and treat us right, or we're going to disrupt all of it, because you can't be doing all the stuff you're doing all over the world and your home is in disarray.
Hey, you knocked it out the park.
I'm that brother. You didn't know? You better ask somebody.
His master plan was destabilization of America through guerrilla revolt, forcing the white politicians to choose their Black freedom agenda. Now, Brother Tamani, how realistic was that?
That is quite unrealistic, Professor Lee, because if you disrupt where you live, nigga, where you gonna live?
Exactly.
Excuse my French sisters, I meant Negro.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's unfortunate, but he was trained in the military. He was trained in intelligence gathering, but he didn't have all of the other components that was necessary to understand and put together an effective empowerment agenda, which brings us to who? What you say, Brother Dave?
Oh, I was saying he was more about the guerrilla and military tactics, and that kind of stuff is going to get your neighborhood bombed.
Exactly. Brother Dave, you can't win. You can't win.
And that's the kind of stuff. If you have to have a smaller scale country and you're going to run up on the president, you can't do that in the States. No.
Exactly. And it's so funny that you bring that up, because his case analysis was exactly what you just said. The smaller country, and I don't understand when these guys, especially in 2020. I mean, do you know there are guys who are still saying the shit that was being said in this movie?
Right. It's simply a lack of understanding, and unfortunately, Brother Craig, we have yet to, like I say in the beginning of my presentations, we want to study what's been tried, build upon the success, but we got to keep learning. We think that everything that's come before us was the answer, was the truth, was the way, because we've stopped evaluating the struggle, the movement, the techniques. And like you always say, you cannot build a building from the top down. And we have yet to understand the importance of the foundation, which is the grassroots. So, yeah, man, that's why we so damn important.
Yeah, and it brings it to the Black Gold Nation. But Brother Dave, you knocked it out the park with that, because I was like, and you tell me, Brother Dave, for a brother to be that goddamn intelligent and that fucking focused, how in the hell could you just look at it from a military standpoint?
I think his plan was that when he did Operation Red Strike, like if everybody did it at the same time and they all rose up in all those big cities, maybe, but back in the 70s that would work. But then you're still looking at a missile strike in those cities right on your head. That's gonna happen. So
Exactly.
Well, you see, but Brother Craig, he was just doing what he was taught to do.
I know.
Yeah, but where he faltered is that he was taught to do that in other places.
Yeah.
Not here,
where it would work,
because it's different here. It would work, like David said, it will work in other countries, you know, in other climates, but not here.
Yeah.
And that's where he faltered, of course.
It was nation destabilization he was trying to do, and he did it within his neighborhood, and they controlled the neighborhood. But what are you going to do past that? Because if we thought what the senator said was that when they shut down the ghetto, the city was stuck. Like you remember that part? Like no workers could come out, bus or all that stuff. That could have been a point to go from there, but then he was like, let's burn the whole place down.
But Brother Dave, see, think about it. So, okay, and they didn't have control of the neighborhood. They were, wreaking havoc on the military because, if the neighborhood is shut down, there are no corporations to hire the people. I mean, like, there was no thought of culture. There was no thought of goddamn economics. There was no thought of public health care. It was just a thought of military. And so what major movie has come out over the past few years? This guy here, Freeman, was the actual character that this character was really based on. What major movie was it? Directly connecting Spook that sat by the door and the Freeman's character to a major movie that came out, and it was pretty much the same.
A Black Panther, right? He's Killmonger basically, and it worked out. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
He was Killmonger 47 years ago.
Yeah.
And goddamn it, 47 years later, that shit still ain't gonna work, bro. Cause you're not gonna be able to do it from that standpoint. It's impossible, and because you got to do several things simultaneously, and that's where the Black Gold Nation comes in. All right. Who was that referenced the white boy or the Puerto Rican earlier in their introduction? Who was that?
Jatik, I think.
Who was that?
That was Mary.
No?
That was Mary.
Oh, Mary. Okay, it's Mary.
Is Mary still on the call?
Yeah, she there. Yeah, she there.
Sister Mary, I got to get to your point. So you know exactly what the light-skinned, so-called Puerto Rican white boy. So for $20, what was that guy's? He was a metaphor for somebody. Who was he a metaphor for? For $20, I'll cash out you.
By her facial expression, she knows the answer.
Who? I can't. Who?
Who was he a metaphor for?
Who was that guy a metaphor? He was a metaphor for a real person.
Oh,
$20.
I think I know.
I don't know.
$20. I can't let the money think jackass. He probably knows.
Candace Owens.
I'm a guess.
What you say, Brother Ricardo?
Candace Owens. Candace Owens.
No, this is in 1973. Think about the time period.
Colin Powell.
No,
too soon.
No, definitely not.
No.
The senior.
Sister Mary, you don't know it? You gotta know it, Sister Mary.
I guess not, because I don't know.
The white boy was a metaphor.
He wasn't white.
Well, I know he was a Puerto Rican, whatever. Yeah. He was a metaphor.
Wait, let me guess. I want to guess. You can keep your stinky money. I'm gonna say he's a metaphor. He's a metaphor for either one of two things. I'm gonna say Adam Clayton Powell, but that's probably not it. Interracial relationships.
Nope.
Damn it. I don't know.
Think about about the character.
Someone who can pass for white in the Black community.
Melanin ink. Sister Ray.
Jewish.
Huh?
No, hell no. She said Jewish.
Who?
I said Jewish people.
Nope.
Come on, man.
Wait. You looking for an individual or a group?
Right.
I told you, he's a metaphor for a person.
A metaphor for a person in 1973. Not Adam Clayton Powell, Thurgood Marshall.
That person still alive? I need a hint. Is that person still alive?
No.
No. I know you're going to get it, Brother Dave.
But he was white chocolate, though. He wasn't wasn't trying to pass.
Exactly. So who is he a metaphor for?
Light-skinned brothers? Who? I don't know.
The one on the Boondocks.
John Brown.
Who's that? Oh, John Brown.
He was a metaphor for John Brown. See, John Brown was not totally white.
Man, that's a leap.
No. Look at his character. The dude was a revolutionary.
Sure.
He was the one that did the bank thing.
Right.
He was the one that was busting caps in ass. Who was that person in real life?
John Brown.
John Brown.
Right.
Who risked his life and his son's life to help free black people?
John Brown.
That's why they put him in there, Sister Mary.
That's a heavy metaphor, bro.
That's because black is a state of mind, not necessarily a melanin.
Exactly.
It's both. It's not just phenotype, as I learned from my professor Lee.
Yeah. So here you got a light brother with a black mindset, just like John Brown. And I want y'all to study John Brown now, because one of the things that Umar Johnson, goes around the country and he subtly disrespects John Brown, and in order to hype up Frederick Douglass, because he knows that Frederick Douglass, his so-called relative, sold out John Brown. So he made a point in Dallas, Texas, to say that one of his good friends had a poster of John Brown on his wall, and he, Farad, no, not Farad, hell no. He couldn't have been no metaphor for Farad Muhammad, because that's a whole different thing. But I'll discuss that, but that's a whole different thing. But anyway, Umar got pissed off that one of his friends had a poster of John Brown on the wall. And I'm listening to him. He hating on John Brown. But he ain't doing it real bad, but he hating on him. Look, man, y'all better study who Frederick Douglass really was. Now, even though he said some gangster-ass speeches, Frederick Douglass was a goddamn sellout. Frederick Douglass was a goddamn sellout of black folks. Because when you study this cat, number one, John Brown was his mentor, okay? Ain't no Negro that was on that elitist level, including Harriet Tubman, because he reached out to Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass. Neither one of them was willing to pay this price. See, and Freeman in the story lets you know that that's who that character was. He said, nobody gets in the way of our freedom. That's what he said when he had to kill his own goddamn friend.
Right.
So who was one of his three most trusted entities? The light bright.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
And that was the one, and when he said, hey, we need to rob this bank, and we need you to be the point. Right. And the dude got up, I'm tired of all this shit trying to play me.
I'm black too, damn it.
I'm black. Okay? And he knew, man, y'all better study John Brown, because John Brown really never lost any damn battle. He and his squad was kicking ass throughout.
Hey, Craig. I always wondered if they thought that all of us, if there was no sellout, if they thought that they could, if we all was just so resolute that they knew we all wasn't going to sell out, we all wasn't going to play, then they would have just exterminated us, because like there was no hope for them to, you know, to program us.
Well,
so you kind of a sellout is kind of a progressive step. Like they're useful until the revolution, as long as they don't do too much damage.
Yeah. Well, they could never totally. See, they can't totally get rid of us. See, because even back then they needed us for labor, and then today they need us for exceptional labor. See, they don't need us for basic labor anymore. So that's where the Mexican and everybody else like that from third world countries coming in. That's their role. But they still need us for exceptional labor, whether it's in music, sport, because you got to understand, these are trillion-dollar industries.
Yes, sir.
That we're talking about.
Yeah.
So if you ain't got that, you fuck the whole game up. So they can't just exterminate everybody in terms of the overall get down. But I suggest that you guys go and really look at John Brown, because, hey, man, the only reason that they lost the battle at Harper's Ferry, they had taken over the damn military supply place. See, go back. Everything that they did in taking over the military installation, that was Harper's Ferry. Remember, they went and got the weapons at the military installation. That's what John Brown did. You see? So John Brown, where in the movie, they got the military weapons and left in order to fight guerrilla tactics, John Brown stayed in Harper's Ferry, Virginia, believing that the people would rise up and roll with him because they had all the damn weapons. Okay? He stayed, and that's how they got defeated. But that's who the light bright cat was supposed to be representing, John Brown.
I can dig it.
All right, now, who sold Freeman out?
The black woman. I don't mean that in a bad way.
Now, she wasn't no black woman now.
She was a sister.
She wasn't no black woman.
Well, it was a cop, but he got his information from the sister.
No, but she wasn't a black woman.
Okay, a melanated woman then.
A melanated what?
A woman.
No, a melanated what?
Negro.
Female. A melanated Negro female.
With a vagina. You know what I mean, damn it.
Yeah, but she was. This is very important that we understand these terms, because let's see, you missed something in the film. The prostitute who was supposed to be on a low level, the brother elevates her, and that was a business transaction.
Sure.
He was with this chick, and they were supposed to get married, and she sells them out.
Right.
So now you deal with the grassroots Negro female who's now elevating the womanhood, although her occupation was prostitute. She had more commitment and dedication to him than the goddamn sister. Because once he came out unglued and started referencing the struggle, and that he was rolling with the cats in the street, at least his response indicated that. She was like, wait a minute, you sound like your ass grassroots.
Right.
Now you understand when people ask the question, can a bourgeoisie person, roll on that level? It's very rare. It's very rare. So of the 6 factions, Freeman would be what, Brother Tamani?
Melanated, hybrid, grassroots, black.
Exactly. Now you see why I put these terms out there?
I think you're crazy, but yes, sir.
Yeah. See, because she represented the bourgeoisie.
Yep.
The police officer, he represented what?
Because of what happened at the end, gotta be bourgeoisie Negro. Gotta be.
Pseudo bourgeoisie.
Pseudo bourgeois. Okay, I'll take that.
See, he wanted to be a part of the clique, but he wasn't. He wasn't. And
Okay.
old girl
he still was trying to work for his people. He just had the wrong idea on how to help them.
Yeah, he wanted to work with them in a limited capacity, though. He wasn't really trying to overthrow that thing to throw off the yoke
he
of
wanted
slavery.
to be part of the system. He
Right.
just thought if we
right.
you know, behave, we get along, we can get it.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. Right.
rise in the system.
Yeah. Which one gonna work?
Exactly. So, in a nutshell, brothers, this is a great film.
Awesome.
And it is something that for the creator to influence me to make this film the recommendation this week, and Kamala Harris was just named vice president. It was just apropos, man, because this shows the sophistication even back 50-something years ago, how they break us down and analyze us in order to try to manipulate us. And it also would show young people that the freedom struggle ain't nothing new, man. And these guys were way more sophisticated back then than they are now. All right? Now, with that, the floor is open for any questions, comments, suggestions for movies, any of that. I'm open.
We already did the Drop Squad or no?
Yeah, we did the Drop Squad.
Tisk tisk.
Oh,
oh yeah, we did that.
That was last week.
Yeah, that was last. Yeah,
the last show 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Quilombo.
You know y'all do this really early for us California folks, man. It's 7 in the morning.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. Anybody else?
I said Quilombo.
Colombo?
No, Quilombo.
Quilombo. Okay, spell that.
I think it's Quilombo. It's a you know the it's more of a Brazilian thing, but it's really, you know, the African free movement in Brazil though. But it's relevant. It's a movie.
Okay.
Is it in Spanish?
You can get the English version.
Oh, okay.
It's on. I think it's on YouTube.
All right, I'm gonna check that out. All right, anybody else?
What do you think? Have their sales been a little bit more successful? Did you think that Freeman really thought that this could succeed on a military only basis? Because they didn't have a lot of Black Gold Nation type stuff. They were just on the military aspect.
And that was the point. That was one of the points that I was making. This could never work. And that's the idealism. Because see, if you don't have a Black Gold Nation format, there's no way that would work. And you're not going to be able to defeat the United States military. Brother David said it best. They were causing some skirmishes in the neighborhood, but just like they did with Operation Move, the Move group up in Philly in the 80s,
yep.
If they blow your ass up, they just blow your ass up.
The second 9/11.
Yeah, they don't play no games now.
Yeah, and that's why it's so amazingly sad that brothers still think that you're going to defeat this enemy with weapons.
Yeah, that's not fucking around, coalition, baby.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. That's see. So now this guy with the NAFC, you coming up with something that was proposed back in goddamn the 60s. Now, that's why I read at the beginning what I read about the book. The damn book is recommended reading for who?
The FBI.
Since when?
1968.
62.
1962. That's my next answer.
So now, if it was recommended reading for the FBI in 62, don't you know that the FBI, CIA, NSA, all the alphabet boys, don't you know they know some people are now reading this stuff now with the world revolution, world movements that are going on.
You would
Man,
think.
You're not coming with no foolishness like that.
Yep.
So now, you got a movie that's showing you from a former intelligence officer how you would have to do it if you were going to take that crazy ass route.
Right.
So is Grandmaster Jay in the least bit following anything from this goddamn movie?
Nope.
Exactly.
He can't even probably have a formation. They can't even walk down the street right. Literally.
Yeah. Who else said something?
Ricardo said something. I'm sorry.
I said almost the opposite as far as planning and.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. So that's why I was saying, Ricardo, in terms of analyzing these cats, man, we would be doing a disservice to our people if they don't understand that 50-something years ago, a brother gave, if you were going to go that route, a brother gave you a blueprint as to how you would have to at least kind of sort of play that game. You know, you can't come out and say, oh, Russia contacted me.
Right?
Like, dude, you work for the government.
Couldn't you do a pros and cons, though, to say it's good that you inspired people to be self-defense, blah, 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 but this is a tactic that you're using that's not good or whatever, instead of show the whole person, like, you know, I mean, that maybe in his extreme, yes, but I'm just saying going forward.
So let me answer that within the context of the movie. What happened in the last two scenes of the movie? Who got killed?
Freeman got killed.
No, Freeman didn't get killed. Who got killed, y'all? Who got killed?
Oh, the police officer? I can't remember. It's been a minute.
Yeah. Now, Brother David, are you still with us?
I'm still here.
All right, Brother David. And this is to answer Ricardo's question. Ricardo's basically saying, instead of throwing Negroes like Grandmaster Jay out in the complete, utter trash, shouldn't we be able to take some of the perceptively good things, which really ain't nothing good because it's all a setup? Shouldn't we be able to take something perceptively good and kind of like deal with him gingerly? And I'm asking to answer the question, I'm relating it back to the scene where the police officer was killed. What was the conversation, the dialogue, as it relates to his ass getting killed and his three main people walking in and finding the police officer dead?
What's the question again?
Okay, he said, because they were surprised that he said, they were like, yo, you killed your main man, like that's crazy. And he was like, in this thing, you got to be ready to kill even your friends. And are you ready to kill somebody? And have you killed somebody before? So that's what he said.
That's to answer your question, Ricardo. Ain't no play in this. Ain't no straddle the fence. Freeman said in this movie, nobody gets in the way of our freedom.
Nothing is more sacred, goddammit.
Including my main man.
That's right. That's right.
And so the John Brown character said, damn, he was your main man.
Freeman was like, and?
What? And what? So we're not talking about literally killing the dude, but in terms of making sure, and we're not going, and we do agree with you now, we're not going to go on an attack on him or any other case, but understand why it is important to know that when somebody shows you who they really are,
believe them.
Not only do you believe them, but you make sure that you stay away as far as you can, because although Freeman was trying to flip his partner and make him into a double agent, you see it was unsuccessful. And at the end of the day, when he got sold out by his ex-fiance, he had to end up killing his ex. Because the dude was ready to turn him in. That dude said, I'm about to turn your ass in. Now, let me show you how retarded that is. Now, if you are a part of law enforcement as a Klansman, or you sympathize with the Klansman, do the law enforcement officers who are Klansmen, do they turn their Klansman brothers in?
Nope.
See, we don't get that.
Nope.
We don't get that because we lack the spirituality and culture. And then you can go back and look at a movie like what was the movie Jack Nicholson was in? He was playing the role of Whitey Bulger, the Boston movie.
Oh,
The Departed. The Departed.
Yeah,
The Departed. Brother Dave, did old boy snitch on Whitey Bulger?
I don't remember. Did he?
No.
No, he didn't.
Whitey Bulger had turned in.
Whitey Bulger was the agent.
He was, yeah. That's true.
Whitey Bulger was using all of their
Yeah.
But they had plans. The point is, they had plans throughout the police force. And
right, who they gonna snitch on when they already know what's going on?
Exactly. And look at what Freeman said, Sister Melanie E., Sister Rare. He said, we already got plants on the police force.
But not on your level.
But not on your level.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
They have plants with the military. How the hell you think they hit the military deal? The brother helped them. The brother helped them come in there.
And
the white ones are doing the same thing.
And I tell you what, that's why it is so critically important that we have a new kind of youth program, so we can raise a new kind of black child.
Right. And who is their focus? And who is their focus on?
Who's Freeman's focus?
Yeah.
The young people, damn it.
Exactly.
Because people like you and I, no, it ain't gonna happen. We already old and set.
Now, y'all better fight it. Y'all better fight it.
Stop laughing. You know it's true. Come on, Craig.
Y'all better buy this book, The Assassination of Malcolm X, because in the back of this book,
redacted.
Yeah, there's so much redacted, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But this gets to the point about the young people. Listen here, and this is the goal of the counterintelligence program. They laid out 5 goals. It says a final goal should be to prevent, and this was in 1967.
Come on.
Prevent the long-range growth of militant black nationalist organizations, especially among youth. Specific tactics to prevent these groups from converting young people must be developed. So what tactics did they develop over the past 53 years to divert young people from becoming a part of grassroots organizations?
A slave culture.
Okay, slave culture. What else? Get more specific.
The music, the entertainment.
Okay, entertainment. What else?
School to prison pipeline.
Trying to fold them into feminist and gay movements.
What else?
Where the fight is.
Exactly. What else?
The school to prison pipeline.
Exactly. What else?
Shit, poverty, schools, shit, every facet of their lives.
Gang warfare.
Gang warfare, yeah, all of that. Yeah, sure, all of that.
So this is where the young people's mind, this was our strategy. Look, I ain't got to make it up. It's right here. Oh, Craig, that's conspiracy. No, read it for yourself. Read it for yourself. This is in that book. And the brother plays that in the actual movie. And that's why we got to be on a high level as we maneuver in this game. Anything else? comments, questions, anything? All right. Well, I thank you guys, man. This was a lively discussion. Definitely watch the film again. Send it to your friends. Have discussion. I'm going to get the book so that I can read the full book. But this is where we got to go. Now, this can't be the focus, and of course, it's not the focus of the BGN. But yeah, you got to have a military component, but not from an offensive standpoint. It has to be from a defensive standpoint only, because you're not going to deal with these white folks in terms of goddamn guns. When they got drones and they got satellites and they can watch your ass from 10 million miles in the sky on your porch.
Yep.
It's real talk.
Yep.
So we got to be very mindful and not idealistic. We have to be very mindful to be realistic, realistically optimistic. You know, you can be optimistic based on realism, but you can't be idealistic in this game. It'll get you taken out. And with that, I turn it over to Brother Tamani.
Cool. Thank you, Brother Craig. As always, brother, we sincerely appreciate you putting in the time to break the movie down and giving us, I hope, new perspectives, new understandings, which is always fantastic. Everything we do supports everything we do, and we want to do much more than just talk. So as the brother said, make sure you watch the movie again, share it with friends, family, loved ones. I am putting the movie reviews on the website, blackgoldmedia.net, so you will be able to refer to that soon. And just keep in mind that you know, as I always say, we are most certainly born into a war that we did not start. We're surrounded on every front, and we 300 plus years behind on preparing for it. And we will never be able to adequately fight and win if we don't understand what the hell is going on. So stay engaged, keep moving, and help us make this thing what it needs to be, so we can put our people on a completely different level plane of existence in multiple categories. So with that, as always, remember two things. No one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. And absolutely, always remember, as Brother Freeman said in the movie, nothing is more sacred than the liberation and salvation of Black people. So with that, you guys have a wonderful Saturday, a wonderful weekend, and I'll see y'all tomorrow at one of these meetings that we got. And I'll talk soon. Y'all take care. Thank you.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
Peace.
All right, thank you guys. Peace.